Funder, and other heads of ministries here present, Executive Director, Research Council of Zimbabwe, Mrs. Susan Msite, Governor of the Reserve Bank, is here, Dr. Mnangagwa, the Chairman of the Task Force on Transformation of higher education for industrialization and modernization, Professor Mnangagwa. The Chairman of Universities Vice Chancellors Association, Professor Ed Mwenji, and other Vice Chancellors here present, heads of Parastate House, Principal Directors, Directors Public Service, Principals of Polytechnics, Teachers Colleges, and Industrial Training. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, I wish just to welcome you all to this inaugural interface between commerce and industry on one hand and our intellectual powerhouses on the other, under the supervision.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony, Professor Ngwaibebe. Your Excellency, President, Chancellor of State Universities, Comrade Emmerson, Mnangagwa, the Honorable Vice President, Retired General Chiwenga, the Honorable Vice President, Kwebo Madi, the Minister of my ministry, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs, Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Miriam Chikukwa, and other honorable ministers present here, heads of the diplomatic missions, Chief Secretary's representative, Mr. Obe, the permanent secretaries from all government ministries represented here, the Executive Director of the Research Council of Zimbabwe, Mrs. Susan Msite, the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, Dr. Mnangagwa, the Chairman of the Task Force on Transformation and Modernization, Professor Mnangagwa, the Chairman of Zimbabwe Universities Vice Chancellors Association, Professor Ed Mwenji, and other Vice Chancellors here present. The heads of Parastate House, Principal Directors and Directors in the Public Service, Principals of Polytechnics, Teachers Colleges, and Industrial Colleges, Captains of Industry, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, and all protocol observed. My task, Your Excellency, is a very simple one. I stand here to give the objectives of this gathering. This half-day meeting is meant to promote government, universities, collaboration in the field of research and at growing the economy. This is in line, Your Excellency, with the vision which you encapsulated during your inauguration. This is meant to hit the ground running by ensuring that universities and research institutions in Zimbabwe contribute to economic growth by conducting high-impact research programs that influence the formulation and implementation of public policies. As you are aware, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency the President has enunciated a robust economic growth strategy as calculated in his inauguration statement. Pursuant to this trajectory, the Ministry, in tandem with this 100-day action plan, has organized this meeting, which seeks to achieve a number of objectives which I'm going to detail. First, it is meant to stimulate economic growth anchored on well-researched national programs and policies. You agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, that economic growth has been a problem not only in Zimbabwe, but in many African countries over the years. Hence, at the core of the presidential inauguration statement is the need to grow the economy through science, research, and technology. We need universities to assist in quality growth that is not based on the export of raw and processed commodities, but that increase the ratio of manufactured goods over our gross domestic product. Secondly, this meeting is to provide a forum for His Excellency the President, meet the Vice Chancellors and institutions of higher learning to appreciate the university's contribution to growing the economy. Vice Chancellors, Your Excellency, have been working on plans to jumpstart the growth of the economy. They will, during this meeting, elucidate what they've been doing in terms of achieving the 100-day plan. Thirdly, this meeting is to reaffirm the primacy of universities and research institutions as key agents of economic growth. This meeting wants to put universities and institutions as the foundation of growing the economy and reassuring all stakeholders present, from industry, from government, from NGOs, all sectors, that our universities would like to partner with them in developing our country. Fourthly, this meeting will provide a forum for the new Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development to articulate the new vision of the ministry and the role he expects the universities and institutions of higher education to play in achieving the economic turnaround program. Fifthly, this institution will provide, formally and informally, a forum for the exchange of ideas and experiences between government, industry, and universities of research and other educational programs aimed at growing the economy in terms of the new dispensation. This is the reason why we have a cross-section of stakeholders invited to participate in this meeting. And sixthly, this meeting would like to underscore the need for our universities and higher institutions of learning to conduct what my Honorable Minister calls programmatic research that develop the economy, boost human skills and technological capabilities, and promote economic growth. The need for Zimbabwe to industrialize and modernize its economy through research will be key in this meeting. We need universities and institutions of higher learning to proffer to government evidence-based policy recommendations At the same time, universities expect fiscal and policy support for them to perform efficiently and effectively. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, I hope I've done justice to the objectives of this meeting. I want to thank you, Master of Ceremony.
Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary, for that clear articulation of the objectives of this enterprise. Please allow me to call upon our Honorable Minister, Dr. Professor Amon Murira, to come and further elaborate on the objectives of this enterprise.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ceremony. Director of Ceremonies, Professor Gwabibebe, and you are also the Chairman of the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education. Your Excellency, the President and Chancellor of State Universities, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, Honorable Vice President, Retired General Dr. Chiwenga, Honorable Vice President, Comrade Kembo Mohali, the Minister of State of Provincial Affairs in Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Miriam Chikukwa, and other colleague honorable ministers here present. We welcome you. Heads of diplomatic missions, Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. M.J.M. Sivanta, Permanent Secretary for Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, Dr. D.M. Sivanta, and other heads of ministries here present, Executive Director of the Research Council of Zimbabwe, Mrs. Susan Zite, Governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, Dr. John P. Mangunkya, Chairpersons of University Councils and College Advisory Councils, the Chairman of the Task Force on the Transformation of Higher Education for Industrialization and Modernization, Professor Levi Mnangagwa, the Chairman of the Zimbabwe University's Vice Chancellors Associations, Professor Eddie Mwenje and other Vice Chancellors here present, heads of parastatals, Principal Directors and Directors in the Public Service, Principals of Polytechnics, Teachers Colleges and Industrial Training Colleges, Captains of Industry and representatives of business community here present, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, and all protocol observed. Your Excellency, the President and Chancellor of State Universities, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo, approach to research, there are end products in sight. Basically, no confusion. We have to be on target. The issue basically is that we cannot be going to school for going to school's sake. We have to show something for it. we have to show how the worth of our investment. Gowns are nice, certificates are nice, but if those certificates are not represented in the brain, it means we will be where we started. So we are basically saying literacy is fine, but it's just a precondition of things to come. Yes, we can read and write letters, but at the end of the day, we need goods and services. I think the time for feel-good mentality is gone. We have to challenge ourselves to grow the economy. Cognizant of Your Excellency clarion call to grow the economy and incorporate elements of the market economy in which enterprise is allowed, encouraged, and protected, the nation must now, therefore, follow a radical and programmatic approach to the application of science and technology to realize the turnaround of the economy in the shortest possible time. Just to illustrate a very simple point, if I have got my phone here, sometimes, and you break it, I will definitely cry because I'm taking it as a piece of plastic and an asset. But if the chief executive of this company, which made this phone, has his phone broken, you go back to the document that produced this phone and you produce many of them. So it's time to realize that the phone is not a piece of plastic and electronics. The phone is in the brain. The phone is in the head. And we are saying at the universities, it's now time to transform that brain into goods and services. And through your leadership, Your Excellency, you have allowed us to have several programs that include the setup of innovation centers at universities. That will definitely be the ones that are centers that are the bridge between knowledge and industry. It's nice to say, of course, as I said before, we are very literate and so forth, but we should not rest. We should use that literacy for development. Among all the programs include the skills audit, which was last done in 1984, and we are now going to do it this year in the next 100 days. We are also going to ensure that there's a framework for Zimbabwe to enter the space age by giving Zimbabwe space science capability, and also implement programs that lead to development in several areas. We are also, through your leadership, going to make sure that we train science teachers so that we basically improve the quality of our science teaching. At the same time, we are committing that every student that is able to go to a tertiary institution and a university and who have passed and have got requisite qualifications, we make efforts to make sure that we will have a 20% increase in the intake this year, just to make sure that we don't deserve people on the street that are qualified to be in the universities. As well, we are committed, as to your direction, Your Excellency, that public sector partnerships and build, operate and transfer projects are going to be adopted at universities so that we build accommodation for our students. We build infrastructure for learning space. We are saying to the business community, take this opportunity. We are not prepared to be receiving fees that should be building infrastructure. We are saying build the infrastructure, collect the fees until your money is done, and you have your profit and you leave us with our infrastructure. At the same time, we have had calls of polytechnics and teachers' colleges trying to offer degrees. We are saying no, we will remain doing what we are doing, but we are going to enable progression through the National Qualifications Framework Program, such that if one is interested in going to university from a technical college, you can always go through a pathway. Polytechnics and teachers' colleges were never created by mistake. and universities were never created by mistake. I think the time for silos is gone, as he said, Your Excellency. And with these few remarks, I will leave this time to the Chancellor himself, after he has been introduced, to actually say his points. This is his day with his Vice Chancellors. So I will not try to go any further. Siyabonga, tatenda. Thank you very much.
our Director of Ceremonies, Professor Zanu-PF. I was wondering whether you were speaking about me. The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs for Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Mnangagwa. My host, the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, Professor Emmerson. Honorable Ministers here present, Honorable Members of Parliament here, the Chief Secretary, the President Cabinet, Dr. Svana, as represented, the members of the diplomatic corps who are here, the Governor of the Reserve of Zimbabwe, the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, Dr. John Manager, His Worship the Mayor of the City of Harare, Councillor Manyeni, Chairperson of the Zimbabwe Council of Higher Education, Professor Zanu-PF, senior government officials who are here, Chairperson of Zimbabwe University's Vice Chancellors Association, Professor Mnangagwa, and other Vice Chancellors who are present, heads of higher and tertiary learning institutions, captains of industry and commerce, members of the academia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. It is with great pleasure and honor that I address you at this inaugural meeting with University Vice Chancellors, heads of higher and tertiary learning institutions, and members of the academia in general. I commend the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development for organizing this timely gathering, especially as it comes on the backdrop of the current impetus by my administration to accelerate economic revival and growth for the socio-economic transformation of our great nation. The academia and institutions of higher learning are torchbearers in teaching and learning, research and development in our quest for an industrialized growing economy and empowered society. To this end, they impart new knowledge and skills needed to meet the multifaceted opportunities and challenges of development, relevant, informed research and development initiatives, raise public awareness and set guidelines for informed business decision-making, responsible entrepreneurial behavior, as well as impacting on rational consumer choices. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, since independence, the government has adopted policies that have resulted in the massive expansion of the education arena under both the private and public sectors. Over the years, our education system has been a force to reckon with in Africa. However, I exhort us to continually introspect and ask ourselves whether our education sector has done enough to provide solutions to our myriad challenges and equally maximize on all available opportunities in our country. The educational system is the pillar for the incubation of fundamental solutions to our nation. Institutions of higher learning should not be satisfied with a very high interest rate or about many graduates who have passed through their gates. They should instead harness their collective skills and intellectual capacity within their respective institutions to develop our beloved country. Education should be productive, it should be responsive and relevant to the society's needs for present and future generations. The pursuit for industrialization and economic growth in Zimbabwe demands us to think creatively and positively about the manufacturing sector, value addition and beneficiation, import substitution and export promotion, development of small and medium-sized enterprises, retail, wholesale, distribution and customer service processes, competitiveness in the global markets, and economic integration in the region. Institutions of higher learning should also recognize agricultural sector and agro-based value chain industries as an integral part of our economy. Equally, they have a leading role in shaping the economy through science and technology by being the test beds of innovation and educating future generations. To that end, an imperative question is to be asked regarding how higher education institutions fit in our mode for industrialization and international trade policies. I therefore exhort local universities to establish academic synergies with industry, commerce, and other renowned international universities or centers of academic excellency to boost their capacity in research and technology development through academic cooperation. Institutions of higher learning should thrive to be technology incubation centers where innovations can originate. It is also fundamental for us to begin to reward those who would have put effort in creativity and innovation. They should be encouraged, recognized through awards, prizes, as well as the requisite protection of their intellectual property. In this regard, I exhort the Ministry of Justice and the ministers here, the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, to ensure that copyrights, patents, and all other rights of inventors, innovators, scientists, and technologists are fully protected. More concerted efforts must be made to fight against piracy. This device dampens the spirit of innovation and creativeness. Educational institutions further play a key role in the preservation and promotion of culture and the ethical values of society. The leaders of a country are a product of the educational system in which they grew up and were nurtured. The phenomenon of corruption thrives in a society where people readily forego what is true and good in exchange for selfish interest and expedient and scrupulous acquired wealth. Higher learning institutions should shun and abhor corruption, nepotism, and bribery in teaching, research, and management of all affairs within our learning institutions. Deplorable, corrupt, and immoral tendencies that have seen undeserving students getting passes must stop. Our children, both male and female alike, should not be subjected to abuse in whatever form, for marks or higher grades. Learners must be free to report any cases of corruption without fear or favor. And perpetrators should be brought to book. It is incumbent upon us all as the key personnel in our educational institutions to ensure the integrity of our educational system remains intact. The values of honesty, transparency, accountability, responsiveness, and the high standards of professional ethics must be promoted, inculcated and maintained throughout every level, from the learners to the top administrators within our educational institutions countrywide. Government remains concerned with the moral decadence and associated health risks to learners within our institutions. This situation cannot be allowed to continue unchecked. Real men do not prowl our university campuses and take advantage of young girls' socio-economic backgrounds to abuse them in whatever form or style. The role of universities in the preservation of national identity, cultural heritage, and the moral societal fiber cannot be overemphasized. I thus exhort all higher learning institutions to endeavor to protect, promote, and preserve these cultural values and practices which enhance the dignity, well-being, and equality of Zimbabweans as enshrined in our Constitution. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my government, despite the many compelling obligations, pledges to continue looking at the welfare of institutions of higher learning. Over the years, government has made strides to continue paying salaries and allowances despite the limited fiscal space. However, universities need to also think strategically on how to use their mind-guided resources to offer new products and services to the academic community. It is no longer an option to keep doing things the old way. Innovation and accepting change are now prerequisites for survival. Institutions of higher learning should strive to improving learning conditions for students through availing of decent and adequate accommodation, building of well-resourced libraries with latest books and journals. There is need for well-equipped laboratories and establishment of vibrant research and technology development centers. We look upon institutions of higher learning to lead in research to produce a qualitative and technological edge product, thereby supporting our agricultural sector and agro-based industries through production of new seed varieties, adoption of water harvesting technologies for irrigation development, and adoption of new farming methods. Gone are the days for universities to be famous or pride themselves in how many years they have existed or how many graduates they have rolled out. Higher education is more necessary than ever before. I have enunciated my government's vision on the role that we expect universities to play in the new economic transformation. I'm glad that my new Minister of Higher Education is quite open to new ideas. As I'm saying, I have elucidated my government's vision on the role that we expect investors to play in the new economic transformation, modernization, and industrialization agenda. Allow me to take this opportunity to emphasize that this vision is not only about talk, but is fully supported by my government ministries. Recently, the two ministries of higher education and finance and economic development issued a joint statement on private sector investment in accommodation and learning facilities for the benefit of students and the staff at tertiary institutions. Therefore, not only will resources be available through public-private partnership PPs and build operating transfer boards, but all the necessary support from various relevant ministries and government departments will be available. I also urge the local corporate world, civil society organizations, rural and urban councils, and those in the diaspora to partner government and universities in this academic transformative agenda. After all, captains of industry and commerce are the immediate beneficiaries of a skilled workforce rolled from these higher learning institutions. Let us invest in our labor force as captains of industry. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, institutions of higher learning should explore new ways to provide quality teaching through balanced lecturer-students ratio and adherence to laid out undergraduate and postgraduate admission policies. Democratization and mass recruitment of students should be done in a manner which doesn't compromise the quality of graduates. You may want many students to lots of school fees, but the most important from a government point of view is the quality of the product which you produce. Apart from that, institutions of higher learning should engage in community developmental projects, as well as offering policy advice to the central and local government. They can reach out to communities and use them as laboratories to test ideas and find better ways to achieve social and economic goals. gone are the days where every activity is academic. I will tell you a story without giving names. We had two very important citizens. One was an academic, the other was a wise village head. There was a stack of bricks at this place, 100 meters away. There was a foundation to build the house. Then the two were asked to proceed to have the house built. The academic, the professor, decided to go for evaluation. To find out feasibility study. How to move 100,000 bricks 100 meters away to build a house. He had to assess if we would use wheelbarrows, how many wheelbarrows to use. Each wheelbarrow, how many runs would make. If it's a truck, what size of truck and how many trips? Then once the bricks are at site, what grade of a builder should build the house, and how many bricks should be laid per day, and when would it finish? The village head quickly got a wheelbarrow and began moving bricks to the site. He never counted how many times he went. As the bricks arrived at site, the builder was beginning to build. By the time the feasibility study was finished, the village had finished building the house. So we want now our universities to blend the wisdom of the academic professor and the wisdom of the village. Let us innovate our way to economic competitiveness in this new socio-economic political space, value goods and services that middle-class societies will seek and will need and they use in the years ahead. There should be backward and forward linkages between industry, commerce, and the academia to avoid the skills-job mismatch. I therefore urge members of the academia, researchers, scientists, economists, captains of industry, and commerce to begin to engage to ensure that skills required by industry are the ones taught at our various colleges and universities. Our curriculum or course content should be continuously reviewed to meet industrial needs and expectations. We can no longer afford to train just for the sake of training. It is therefore my fervent hope that using the capabilities in various disciplines in all our learning institutions, we should be able to develop technical and managerial skills which speaks to the identified deficiencies in both private and public sectors of our economy. With commendable teamwork team spirit and a unit of purpose, we can achieve bigger and better things through our institutions of higher learning. It is my hope that you will commit yourselves to the nation. I'm fully aware that universities and colleges are launch pads for political movements, with the students adding their voices in the political discourse. That is welcome. However, my message is that in all our political endeavors and maneuvers, let us resolve to remember that we are one family. What unites us as Zimbabweans is greater than anything that could divide us. We are one people, united by our flag, our national anthem, and indeed by our national ethos, such as our late Vice President Como, who said, peace begins with me, peace begins with you, and the peace begins with all of us. With peace and tranquility in our country, we can have meaningful development. Free, fair, and credible elections are inevitable when we refrain from political violence and reject those who preach division, intolerance, and those whose politics seek to perpetuate the suffering of our people. Together, with your support, we will create a prosperous Zimbabwe. Datenda Siawoma. Thank you.
Chancellor, may I take this opportunity to express our profound gratitude for the rare opportunity you have availed Vice Chancellors to directly interact with you. Your Excellency, we have fully embraced your servant leadership philosophy as the most feasible, viable vehicle to optimize the delivery of our services to the society and to the whole nation. Your Excellency, we also totally agree with you that higher and tertiary education is the most powerful weapon in alleviating poverty, elevating economic growth, producing skilled and super-skilled human resource, creating a healthy and enlightened society, and creating a self-sufficient nation. The role of higher education in economic development is well understood in developed countries. The challenge at hand is how to engender the culture and philosophy in the higher education sector in Zimbabwe. The Vice Chancellors of universities in Zimbabwe opted to establish a task force that should spearhead the transformation initiative to stimulate the participation of universities in economic development. The main goal for the establishment of the task force on transformation of higher education for industrialization and modernization was to initiate a process of profound and radical change in higher education. The change orients the sector in a new participatory direction that takes universities in an entirely different level of effectiveness in the delivery of services to the Zimbabwean society and the nation. The transformation involves a change of the academic business, a change of the research culture, a change of the mindset of members in the university community, and a change of the curriculum structure and curriculum implementation processes. The desired outcome of the transformation is to make universities champions in promoting the use of the most recent methods, ideas, goods, services, technologies, and machinery to make the socio-economic systems in Zimbabwe more efficient, more productive, and more cost-effective. In addition, the transformation is to motivate universities to engage in impactful, innovative research that produces technological products and solutions that contribute to the growth of the economy. The implementation of this transformation is guided by agreed actions which all participating members were to effect in their universities. Your Excellency, universities resolved that in order to make significant contributions to industrialization and modernization of the country and its economy, several radical changes must take place in their operations. One, universities must critically review their curricula jointly with the stakeholders to produce training programs capable of producing super experts who become champions of the industrialization and modernization agenda. Universities must promote impactful, innovative research whose thrust is the search for discoveries and technological products and solutions to solve problems in agriculture, mining, health, environment, water, energy, and transport. Universities must provide high-tech training anchored on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, as a foundation for the cutting-edge research that exploits product innovation and revolutionary innovation in order to produce usable goods and services to grow the economy. Universities must retrain its academic staff to empower them to migrate from the teaching mentality to the production mentality. Universities must establish innovation hubs to develop prototype goods and services produced by students and staff to create new enterprises or to revive ailing businesses and to create jobs. Universities must forge collaborations with industry, business, and the public sector to develop solutions needed in these sectors. Universities agreed that they must develop demand-driven undergraduate and postgraduate degree and non-degree courses to improve the skills and competencies of personnel in these concerned business areas. Universities must increase the number of students admitted into STEM degree programs to create a critical mass of high-skilled human resources for the agricultural sector, the mining sector, the health sector, water, energy, and tourism. Your Excellency, we also agreed that it is no longer business as usual. Universities must adopt viable development models whose contextual philosophy is the Zimbabwean culture and heritage. It is necessary for us to know where we started, where we are, and where we want to go as a people. And lastly, universities agreed that we need to introduce entrepreneurial training to our students in order to promote hands-on experience on commercializing technological inventions with the ultimate goal of setting up companies and creating jobs. Your Excellency, we recognize that the transformation of higher education will be successful if a number of enabling factors are addressed. These factors include funding for research in key economic areas, namely agriculture, engineering, technology, mining, geospatial space sciences, health, tourism, and also the financial sector to address monetary issues that will lead to the introduction of the Zimbabwe currency. We also strongly believe, Your Excellency, that lifting of the freeze on recruitment of academic staff and researchers will enable universities to attract Zimbabwean professionals in the diaspora. This will strengthen the skills and the technological exposure that we have in institutions in order for us to deliver what is expected by the nation. Your Excellency, construction of more well-equipped workshops and laboratories is desirable in order to support quality training and cutting-edge innovative research that produces goods and services that are required in order to grow the economy. We also require and request provision of scholarships and research grants for postgraduate students in STEM degree programs to enable them to tackle the research problems targeted at providing solutions to challenges in the economic sectors, in particular agriculture, mining, the health sector, energy, water, which are critical for the growth of the economy. We also strongly feel, Your Excellency, that there is need to have a research foundation, a national research foundation, which together with the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, will develop centers of excellence in order to spur research excellence in universities. We strongly believe that successful transformation of higher education for industrialization and modernization of the economy will generate many benefits. And here I'm going to consider some of the benefits that we see coming to the nation. Research, products and technological transfer, support to current business and industry, trained quality workforce, enhanced technology infrastructure, promotion of habitable communities. We examine the content of each of these benefits to the society. Research and technology transfer. Applied research that promotes application-based technology is needed to create sustainable economic growth. In this regard, research conducted by universities should enhance the economic development in several ways that include conducting economic and social research, including community audits, rural and urban councils audits, and industry and business audits that are used to identify assets, gaps in the socio-economic infrastructure, skills shortages, growth opportunities, and trends in the regional economic climate that impact on the national economy performance. Facilitating technology transfer of basic and applied research, which results in the design, development, production, and commercialization of new or improved goods, services, or processes, with the ultimate outcome of creating new industries, capital ventures, and jobs. Forming research partnerships with business and industry, which should result in new technologies, industries, and jobs. support through the customized services offered by higher education. In particular, as technology and the economy change, universities can become a viable resource to businesses in several ways that include identifying employee gaps and providing corrective, skills measures, providing technical assistance, conducting organizational assessments, and providing management development, assisting through research the identification of new markets for products being produced by industry, providing customized research and data in order to improve the efficiency of operations of industries, providing conference and workshop facilities, and also offering specialized help to small to medium-sized businesses to promote effective planning, marketing, and quality of goods that are being produced. With regards to the benefit in trained quality workforce, higher education is the dominant factor in preparing workers with robust high-end skills needed to adapt to changing job requirements as industry and business embrace the growing need of knowledge workers. We expect to transform the higher education sector to prepare a quality workforce by offering training programs matching instruction to the needs of business and industry. In this case, we are producing the workforce together with industry in order for us to maintain relevance and to impart skills that are required to make our industries more effective and more productive. Enhancing technology infrastructure. Higher education should be a key technology driver and should be instrumental in raising economic development through several initiatives that include designing cutting-edge technologies which result in new products, businesses, and jobs. Supplying advanced technology for use by industry and business, providing technology training to create a skilled workforce, addressing the digital divide in targeted economic sectors, namely agriculture, mining, tourism, space sciences, health, energy, and transport. The idea is to increase the efficiency in which business is done in these sectors. Promoting habitable communities. Your Excellency, cities and towns are economic centers viewed as great places to live and work. Higher education has an important role to play in helping cities and towns to provide quality services to residents. Universities are now expected to team up and collaborate with urban councils and rural councils to address the problems that are preventing a sustained delivery of quality services to customers. Your Excellency and Chancellors, as we forge ahead with the transformation of higher education to participate in economic development, we desire to intensify our collaboration and partnerships with government ministries, government departments, parastatals, business and industry, and leading academic institutions to enhance our success to be effective partners and participants in the growth of the economy of this country. I thank you.
And other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263 chat.